Good morning, everybody. Randy here again at the Clearwood Shop, and I want to go over the way we get these hollow boards started this morning. I get this question occasionally, where do I start? And it's pretty easy, but it's also a bit mysterious as to how you really get the first strips in place. And um, there really aren't any magic numbers that I can give you or, a real specific layout because a lot of it has to do with really what you're trying to accomplish with the look of the deck. And, I've worked out a way that works great for me based on, the kind of look that I like to create. So I'm going to start with that, and if anybody has any questions, you can get hold of me, and we can discuss it further. But basically, the first strips that go into place are the strips that actually outline the basic top of the deck, and you can see here I've got my pin line strips in place. But the first strip I actually put down is the first strip on the rail below the pin line. So the pin line's a little bit thin and a little bit hard to position accurately. So I use my first strip that actually has some width and some size to it so that I can flex it into place and create this curve. So essentially what I do is I'll use a series of small clamps and just position that first strip into place with these small clamps. And then it's really what it boils down to. You just have to stand back from it and look at it kind of from the perspective of the camera here this morning, and just assure yourself that this curve that forms the outline of the deck is fair and sweet with no kinks or bumps in it. So, that can be pulled down slightly, it can be pulled up slightly, but the main thing is that, especially with these step deck boards, is that where the strip passes from the raised portion of the foredeck to the step down portion of the standing deck, that you get a really clean transition there. And it's pretty obvious when you lay the strips out what that's going to end up looking like. So you don't have to worry about, is it going to be right? Is it going to be wrong? You'll know if there's a strange bump in this strip as it passes from the raised section to the lowered section. You'll know that you have to make an adjustment. So essentially, I work from one side, and I get one side looking really good. And then I add some clamps and position it in such a way that it's kind of in its final resting place, but not glued up. And then I'll mark it. I'll mark with a pencil. I'll just mark the position on the frame with a pencil, and then I can always come back to that. So basically, I'll get it positioned, get it clamped into place, get it marked, and then I'll pull it loose, and then I'll measure from the center line to that mark. Then I can actually place that dimension on the other side of the board so that I get a symmetrical layout to get started with. So essentially, it's what a New Zealand friend of mine calls you have to use your iometer, mate, and it's really that. You really just have to position it and look at it and make sure that you like what you see. Weird bumps are obvious. Things that you don't like are obvious because they just don't look good. So anyway, once you get everything working, Then you can clamp up both sides temporarily and make sure that everything is still the way you like it. Confirm that your marks are in the right place, and then you're set to go to glue the first strips down. So again, it's an eyeball job. I start with the first rail strip, which is the first strip below the deck line. I'll get that set up and looking just about the way I like it. Then I'll glue that down. And once I have that glued down, then I can glue my pin line, which is kind of limber and flimsy before it's glued down. Then I can glue that pin line down to that first rail strip. And everything usually works out pretty good. I mean, a lot of times if you're looking for dimensional perfection, you may not get it. This is kind of visual perfection, and there's a difference for sure. But you want it to look sweet and nice, and if you stand back and have a good look at it after you've temporarily positioned it, it'll come out just the way you want it to. But you got to make sure that you have a good look, get everything in place, and don't commit to the glue until you really know exactly where you're at. So anyway, I hope this helps. We'll do a few more as we get going here, but that'll get you started. Thanks a lot for watching.